Considered one of the most successful directors in Hollywood, Steven Spielberg is nothing short of a cinematic legend. Spielberg's breakthrough film was Jaws in 1975. From there, he went on to create famous movies such as E.T., Schindler's List, Indiana Jones, and Jurassic Park, to name a few. As a 3-time Oscar winner, Academy Award-winning director, screenwriter, and producer, Spielberg has made a mark in cinematic history.
Fantasies of evil can compare with the reality of Jaws. Roy Scheider, Robert Shaw, Richard Dreyfuss, Jaws.
Spielberg invented a style of filmmaking in the 1980s that regenerated cinema and captured audiences in a new and profound way. Spielberg is known for his signature camera techniques, such as the over-the-shoulder shot, sideways tracking shot, and one-shot. Spielberg uses these different techniques in order to add intensity, dramatic effect, and communicate strong emotions in pivotal scenes throughout his films. Although many filmmakers use tracking shots, Steven Spielberg does so in a very distinct way. Spielberg's tracking shots are usually very long and follow characters as they walk and talk. In order to add visual texture and enhance the visual perception of movement, Spielberg often places objects and extras in between the camera and the main subject. One prominent example of Steven Spielberg's use of sideways tracking and visual texture is present in the Ride This Way scene from his film E.T. While tracking the determined young boys and their ensuing authorities, there's a constant flow of plants blowing in the wind, branches poking into the frame, and dirt blowing into the air. All these little details add visual texture to the scene in order to enhance the chase and make the audience feel as though everything is real and they are involved in this exact moment. The use of sideways tracking with visual texture can also be found in Spielberg's film Jurassic Park. While watching the trio run for their lives, literally, ensuing dinosaurs pass through the frame of the camera. The frightened humans can be seen jumping over fallen trees and eventually finding refuge under a suitable lid. Through the use of sideways tracking, which places the fearful humans within a stampede of dinosaurs rather than in front, the audience is able to infer that they are among real danger, not one step ahead as they may wish to be. Steven Spielberg uses both dramatic and claustrophobic over-the-shoulder shots. Dramatic over-the-shoulder shots are usually filmed over the shoulder of the protagonist with a wide lens. Claustrophobic over-the-shoulder shots are meant to portray special significance and are never used more than once in a film. These over-the-shoulder shots place the shoulder in the foreground and take up a large portion of the frame, ultimately pushing the main subject against the side of the frame. A great example of Spielberg's dramatic over-the-shoulder shot can also be found in the film Jurassic Park. After taking refuge from the flocking dinosaurs behind a tree trunk, the camera then passes behind Dr. Allen and the Murphy kids. The audience then witnesses the dangerous and deadly demeanor of the dinosaurs from over the shoulders of Dr. Alan Grant, thus portraying his perspective. In this scene from Jaws, the claustrophobic over-the-shoulder shot can be examined. The protagonist, Chief Martin Brody, is approached by a man when the camera pans behind this man's back, offering the audience a view of Brody's facial expressions from over his shoulder. The camera quickly flips, now showing what Brody is seeing, this time from over the front of the man's shoulder. By using this man's shoulder to take up most of the frame, both Brody's facial expression and perspective are left to be the audience's focus. A one-type shot is a technique that has been tokened the hallmark of Steven Spielberg. Essentially, Spielberg covers multiple character scenes in a single, uncut shot, where both the camera and actors are moving. This type of shot is able to offer the audience multiple different messages and perspectives all in one, while also tying the different interactions together to form one larger message. In this scene, from Steven Spielberg's Schindler's List, 2 soldiers begin pacing in front of a line of women. The camera then pans behind the women as the 2 soldiers turn to walk back along the line the other direction. Because the camera has now traveled smoothly, both in front of and behind of the women, without cutting, the audience is able to understand, through a 360-degree depiction of their stiff manner and surroundings, that these women are distressed and nervous, and these soldiers are clearly in control.
I don't want to give him my call.
Another great example of the famous Spielberg oneer can be seen here in the film Jaws. As the camera follows Chief Martin Brody's movement while he smokes a cigarette, a car can be seen pulling onto the platform behind him. The camera then zooms out so both the chief and passengers exiting the car can be seen in the same frame. As the characters begin having a conversation, the camera does not move or cut. One interesting aspect of this oneer-type scene is that the platform, which the characters are standing on, is doing the moving. Similar to the previous scene from Schindler's List, by not cutting and instead following the motion of multiple characters through a long interaction, the audience is offered another 360-degree view. The 360-degree view in this scene, which shows boats passing by and land becoming more distant, emphasizes how isolating and threatening this interaction is for the chief and offers the audience an in-depth sense of the character's surroundings. Spielberg uses these different techniques in order to add intensity, dramatic effect, and communicate strong emotions in pivotal scenes throughout his films. By adding intensity and dramatic effect through these techniques, Steven Spielberg captures his audience's attention and persuades them to be active viewers, deeply involved in his films.